Armand was a mechanic. He worked in a small workshop at the edge of the town. His shop was old and worn out. The walls had cracks and the paint was peeling. The tools were rusty, but Armand loved his work. He was good with cars. He could fix almost anything. For years, Armand had run his small business alone. He lived in a small, simple house near his workshop. His life was quiet and lonely. He had no family nearby. Every day he worked hard, hoping to save enough money to keep his shop open. But money was always short. Customers came less and less. Big companies with new technology took most of the work. One winter, things became worse. The cold came early, and the snow covered the roads. Armand's shop was empty for many days. He counted the little money he had left. He worried about paying the rent. The landlord was kind but firm. He told Armand, "If you don't pay by next week, you have to leave." Armand felt the weight of failure on his shoulders. He sat in his small room, looking at old pictures on the wall, photos of him and his father in a bigger workshop many years ago. His father was a great mechanic too, but he had passed away recently. Armand promised himself to keep the shop open for his father's memory. But it seemed impossible now. One evening, the sky turned dark early. The wind began to howl like a wild animal. The weather news warned about a terrible blizzard coming that night. Armand closed his shop early. He locked the doors and went inside. The room was cold and empty. The heater barely worked. He wrapped a thick blanket around himself and sat by the small window. Outside, the snow started falling fast. The wind blew hard, making the branches of the trees shake. The streets became white quickly. Armand felt tired and sad. He wanted to sleep and forget his worries. Suddenly, a faint sound broke the silence. It was a soft cry for help. Armand's heart jumped. He looked out the window carefully. The snow was thick and the night was dark. He could not see far, but the sound came again, this time a little louder. "Help, please help," the voice whispered. Armand felt a sudden rush of fear and concern. Who could be outside in this terrible storm? The streets were dangerous, and no one should be walking around in this weather. He hesitated. His body wanted to stay warm and safe, but his heart told him to help. He put on his thick jacket, a woolen hat, and boots. He grabbed a flashlight and opened the door. The cold air hit him hard. The snow was deep, covering his shoes and making every step heavy. The wind pushed him back, and the cold bit his face. But Armand did not stop. He moved toward the sound, following the cries for help. His flashlight shone on the white snow. It was hard to see anything. The sound came again, weaker this time. "Please, help us." Armand's breath came out in white clouds. He called out softly, "Who is there? Are you okay?" Suddenly, through the snow, he saw movement. Two small figures were lying close to each other on the ground. They were girls, no more than 10 years old. Their clothes were thin and wet. Their faces were pale and cold. Armand's heart beat faster. He ran toward them and knelt down. "Don't worry, I'm here, I will help you." The girls looked up with scared eyes. One girl shivered and whispered, We got lost." Armand wrapped his jacket around them, trying to protect them from the cold. He could feel how small and fragile they were. The wind blew harder, and snow kept falling fast. He lifted the girls gently and started walking back to his workshop. The journey was difficult. The snow was deep, and the wind pushed him. Sometimes he almost slipped, but he held on tight to the girls. Armand thought about his own life, how he felt lost and broken. But now these two girls depended on him. He must be strong for them. When they reached the workshop door, Armand opened. Dylan went inside quickly. He closed the door behind him and locked it. The warmth inside felt like a small miracle after the cold outside. He sat the girls down near the heater. He took off their wet clothes carefully and wrapped them in warm blankets. The girls shivered but slowly started to feel better. Armand looked at them closely. One girl had long dark hair and bright eyes. The other had curly hair and a small scar on her cheek. He wanted to ask many questions, but he did not want to scare them more. So he just said, "You are safe now. I will take care of you." But deep inside, Armand felt a strange feeling. Something about these girls was not ordinary. Their eyes held a secret. The silence between them spoke of fear and mystery. Outside, the blizzard raged on, but inside the small workshop, a new story had begun, a story of hope, danger, and an unexpected bond. Armand did not know what would happen next. He only knew that this night would change his life forever. The wind howled like a wild beast outside Armand's workshop. The blizzard was worse than anyone had expected. Snow piled high against the walls, covering the windows. The world outside was cold, white, and silent, except for the roaring wind. Inside, the small heater worked hard to keep the room warm. The two girls huddled under the thick blankets Armand had given them. Their teeth chattered, and their bodies trembled from the cold they had felt outside. Armand sat near them, trying to be strong and calm. The older girl, with dark hair and bright eyes, looked at Armand quietly. She didn't say much, but her eyes told a story of fear and pain. The younger girl, the one with curly hair and the small scar, held tightly to her sister's hand. Both girls were scared, but they trusted Armand. Armand wanted to help, but he had no idea who they were or where they came from. He thought about calling the police, but the storm had cut the phone lines. There was no way to reach help. He decided to prepare for the night. The blizzard would not stop soon, and the girls needed food and warmth. Armand went to the small kitchen at the back of the workshop. He found some bread and soup in an old cupboard. The food was not much, but it was warm and filling. He carried the bowls back carefully. The girls ate slowly, watching Armand with shy eyes. He smiled gently and said, "You need to rest now. The storm is strong outside. It will be safe here." As they ate, Armand looked at their clothes. They were wet and torn in some places. He felt anger at whoever had left these girls outside. In such a storm, how could anyone be so cruel? Suddenly, a loud noise came from outside, the sound of metal scraping against ice. Armand stood up quickly and went to the window. Through the thick snow, he saw a large car stuck in the deep snow near the workshop. He opened the door and stepped outside. The cold air hit him like a wall. He moved carefully through the deep snow toward the car. The wind pushed him back, but Armand did not give up. Near the car, a man and a woman struggled to free it. They wore expensive clothes and looked worried. "Can I help you?" Armand shouted, his voice almost lost in the wind. The man nodded. "Our daughters ran away during the storm. We are looking for them." Armand's heart stopped. He thought, "Are these the girls I saved?" The man looked tired and scared. "Please, if you find our girls, bring them to us. We will be very grateful," Armand promised. "I found 2 girls near my workshop. They are safe here." The man's eyes filled with hope. "Thank you. Please take care of them." Armand returned quickly to the workshop. The girls were still wrapped in blankets. He felt relief, but also a deep worry. What would happen next? Why had these rich people lost their daughters in such a terrible storm? The night was long. The girls slept quietly, but Armand could not rest. He thought about his own life, the business he was losing, the loneliness he felt. But tonight, he had a new purpose. He had to protect these girls. They needed him. Suddenly, a soft noise came from the older girl. She opened her eyes and whispered, "Thank you for saving us." Armand smiled. "You are safe now. I promise I will help you." But inside, Armand knew this was just the beginning. The storm was not only outside the workshop. A bigger storm waited in their lives, one full of secrets, danger, and hope. The morning sun tried to shine through the thick clouds, but the snowstorm was not over yet. Inside the small workshop, the air was warm and quiet. Armand sat near the heater, watching the 2 girls slowly wake up. They looked tired but safe. The younger girl stretched and smiled weakly at Armand. "Thank you for saving us," she said softly. Armand nodded and smiled back. "You're welcome, but you should tell me your names. I want to help you more." The older girl looked at her sister, then whispered, "I'm Zara. This is my little sister, Hannah." Armand felt a strange feeling in his chest. Their names sounded normal, but there was something unusual about their eyes. They were filled with fear and sadness. Suddenly, the doorbell rang loudly. Armand jumped up, worried. Who could it be? He opened the door carefully and saw two well-dressed people standing outside. They were a man and a woman, both looking serious and anxious. "Are these your daughters?" Armin asked quietly. The woman nodded quickly. "Yes, they are. Thank you for taking care of them." The man stepped forward. "We are their parents. We have been looking for them everywhere." Armin let them in and offered seats near the heater. The girls stayed close together, watching their parents silently. The woman's eyes filled with tears. "We were so worried. We live far away, and the storm caught us by surprise." Armin looked at the father carefully. "Why were your daughters outside in the storm? It's very dangerous." The man looked down and said, "They ran away. They are upset with us." Armin felt more curious. Why? What happened? Before anyone could answer, Zara spoke softly. "It's complicated, but we didn't want to come back." Armin listened carefully as Zara and Hannah told small pieces of their story. Their parents were very rich, billionaires with many businesses. But Zara and Hannah felt lonely and ignored at home. Their parents were always busy with money and meetings. They wanted to be free and happy, not just live in a big house with no love. Armin's heart ached. He understood how it felt to struggle and be alone. He wanted to protect these girls, not only from the storm, but from the world that hurt them. Just then the man's phone rang. He answered quickly and spoke in a low voice. Armin noticed the man's face change. He looked worried. After the call, the man said, "There is more you should know. Our family is in danger. Some people want to harm us because of our business." Armin's eyes widened. "Danger? What kind of danger?" The woman explained, "We think someone is watching us. The storm might have been a cover for something worse. We don't know who to trust." Armin's mind raced. He looked at the girls and promised, "Don't worry, I will keep you safe." Zara looked at Armin with hope. "Thank you. We never thought a mechanic like you would be our protector." Armin smiled humbly. "I may be poor, but I have a big heart." Outside, the snowstorm started to slow. But inside the small workshop, a new storm was rising. One full of secrets, danger, and unexpected friendship. Night fell outside, and the storm had finally stopped. But inside Armin's small workshop, the air was heavy with worry. The girls, Zara and Hannah, sat close together, while their parents talked quietly with Armin. The cold world outside was silent, but inside, tension filled every corner. Armin could not sleep. He kept thinking about what the man and woman had said. Someone wanted to harm their family, but who? And why? Suddenly there was a loud noise outside, a sound like footsteps crunching in the snow. Armin's heart raced. He stood up and looked through the frosted window. Two dark figures moved slowly toward the workshop. They were careful, but their intentions were clear. They were not friendly visitors. Armin grabbed a heavy wrench from the workbench. He told the family, "Stay inside, I will check." He opened the door slowly, the cold air hitting his face. The figures stopped watching him. One of them spoke in a low voice. "We are here to talk. Let us in." Armin did not trust them. "No," he said firmly. "You are not welcome." The figures moved closer, their eyes cold. Armin knew he had to protect Zara, Hannah, and their parents. Suddenly, a bright light shone from inside the workshop. It blinded the strangers for a moment. Armin's voice was strong. "Go away, or I will call the police." The strangers hesitated. Then they turned and ran into the night. Armin closed the door and locked it. He looked at the family, whose faces were pale with fear. "We are not safe here," the man said quietly. "They will come back." Zara hugged her sister tightly. "What do we do now?" Armin thought hard. He knew the girls needed more than just a warm room. They needed real protection. "I will call a friend," he said. "He knows how to keep people safe." The woman nodded, tears in her eyes. "Thank you, Armin. You are more than just a mechanic." Armin smiled, feeling proud but also scared. This was bigger than anything he had faced before. That night, the family stayed close, watching the door and windows. Outside, the cold wind whispered secrets of danger and hope. Arman made a silent promise. No harm would come to these girls on his watch. The morning after the dangerous night was cold, but clear. Snow still covered the ground outside Arman's workshop, but the storm had passed. Inside, Arman was preparing tea for the family. Everyone was quiet, still thinking about what had happened. Arman's phone rang. It was his friend Samir, a security expert. Arman quickly explained the situation. Samir promised to come right away. When Samir arrived, he looked serious. "This is bad," he said. "Whoever is after your friends is dangerous." Zara and Hana's father asked, "Can you protect us?" Samir nodded. "I will do everything I can." Samir began to check the workshop and the area outside. He set up cameras and alarms, making sure no one could enter without being seen. While Samir worked, Arman sat with the girls. Zara looked at him and said, "Thank you for saving us. We never expected kindness from a stranger." Arman smiled gently. Sometimes strangers become family. Suddenly, Samir called Arman. "There is something you need to see." They looked at the security footage together. The video showed a shadowy figure watching the workshop from a distance. The figure stayed for a long time before disappearing into the night. Arman's heart beat faster. "Who is that?" Samir shook his head. "I don't know yet. But they will come back." Zara's mother looked worried. "We can't stay here forever. We need a plan." Arman thought for a moment. "We will get through this, one step at a time." Just then, the workshop door opened quickly. A delivery man stood there with a package. Arman took the box and thanked him. Inside the box was a letter. It was from a mysterious person. The letter said, "I know your secret. Be careful. Not everyone wants you safe." Everyone was shocked. Who could send such a message? Arman folded the letter carefully. "This is just the beginning," he said. "We must be ready." The family looked at each other, fear and hope mixing in their eyes. They knew the road ahead would be hard, but they were not alone anymore. Arman felt stronger than ever. He would protect these girls no matter what. The cold wind howled outside, but inside Arman's workshop, a new energy filled the room. The family gathered around the small table, their faces serious. They needed a plan, a way to stop the danger that was coming for Zara and Hana. Arman looked at the parents and said, "We cannot wait for them to come again. We need to act first." Zara's father nodded slowly. "I agree. We will protect our daughters, but we must be careful." Arman thought deeply. "First, we must find out who is behind this. Someone is watching us, sending threats. We have to find their weakness." Samir, the security expert, joined the conversation. "I've been checking cameras in nearby areas. I noticed strange vehicles parked far from here, moving quietly at night. They could be spies or hired men." Zara's mother looked worried but determined. "We need to go somewhere safe, a place where no one knows us." Arman nodded. "I know a safe place. It's far from the city and hard to reach. We can go there." Zara smiled weakly. "I just want to be safe with my sister." The group quickly packed important things, warm clothes, food, and documents. Arman made sure the workshop was secure, locking every door and window. Before they left, Arman promised the girls, "I will keep you safe, no matter what." The journey to the safe house was long and difficult. Snow covered the roads, and the cold bit their faces. But they stayed strong. When they arrived, the safe house was small but warm. It was hidden by trees and far from any neighbors. Inside, Samir set up new security systems. "This place will be hard to find," he said. "We can watch everything from here." That night, as the family settled in, the wind outside seemed to grow louder, like a warning. Arman stood by the window watching the dark forest. He felt a mixture of hope and fear. He whispered to himself, "We are ready. Whatever comes, we will face it together." The safe house was quiet, but the air was thick with tension. Everyone stayed alert, knowing that danger could arrive at any moment. Armand sat with Zara and Hannah, trying to keep their spirits up. "We will get through this," he said softly. "You are both very brave." Suddenly, the phone rang. Zara's father answered quickly. On the other end was a calm, confident voice. "I know who you are hiding," the voice said, "but I'm not your enemy." Everyone froze. Armand looked at Zara's parents with surprise. "Who is this?" Zara's mother asked carefully. "The voice replied, "My name is Rahim. I am part of your family's security team. We have been watching over you." Relief mixed with confusion filled the room. Rahim explained, "Your family's fortune is known to many, and some want to take it by force. I've been tracking these threats and trying to protect you without causing more harm." Zara's father sighed deeply. "We had no idea. We thought we were alone." Rahim continued, "That's why I sent the warning letter. I wanted you to be careful and find help. Armand was right to protect you. He is a true hero." Armand felt proud but tired. The weight of the past days settled on his shoulders. Rahim said, "Now, we have a plan to end this. I will send my team to protect you properly." Hours later, a convoy of cars arrived. Armed guards surrounded the safe house. The family felt safe for the first time in days. Zara hugged Armand tightly. "Thank you for saving us," Armand smiled. "You didn't need saving. You are strong. I only helped." As the sun rose, the storm outside cleared. Inside, hope returned. Armand looked at the family one last time. "This is just the beginning of a new life for all of you." The story ends with Armand watching the sun rise, knowing he had done something important. He had saved not just two girls, but their future.